on the news at 7. Governor Akeredolu urges Ondo State residents to obey Supreme Court order on old Naira notes. Mixed reactions greet INEC's postponement of governorship and state assembly elections. At least 6 persons died as speeding train rams into BRT bus in Lagos. And from the foreign scene, 5 suspects arraigned in South African court over missing German tourists.
Good evening and welcome to the news at 7. I am Akinwumi Abodunde. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu says the current hardships being faced by Nigerians over the rejection of old Naira notes and the scarcity of new notes, despite the Supreme Court judgment, is unfortunate, undesirable and uncalled for. Governor Akeredolu, during a state broadcast, harped on the need to halt what he described as self-induced pain. The governor appealed to commercial banks to make the new notes readily available, while urging the public not to reject the old notes as legal tender. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole completes the story.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, who stressed the need to halt a self-induced pain currently being experienced by the people of the state following the rejection of the old currency notes as legal tender in Nigeria, described the development as unfortunate, undesirable and uncalled for.
The matter of legitimacy and return into circulation of old Naira notes in the nation's economy has been settled permanently by the Supreme Court of Nigeria and also backed by the appropriate instruments of implementation by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And people will recall that the Apex Court, in its recent judgment and among others, ruled that the old currency notes must remain a legal tender in exchange for goods and services in the nation. For avoidance of doubt, the judgment ordered that both new and old notes should not only coexist but be accepted and used side by side by all Nigerians until end of this year, when the proper elimination and substitution of the old currency notes would have been completed.
Akeredolu said the Supreme Court judgment has removed the daily pain, discomfort and trauma being faced by the people of the country, occasioned by the scarcity of the new notes and the rejection of the old notes. He appealed to people of the state to embrace and accept the old notes alongside the new notes as stipulated by law.
It is therefore of great concern to me today that the last section of our society, particularly traders in our markets, taxi, bus drivers, barbers, auto mechanics, artisans, are rejecting the old Naira notes. It will stifle our local trade and business transactions, weaken our economy and cause us great harm and unavoidable troubles. While the commercial bank within the state must be commended for receiving and paying the old notes, I would also like to appeal to them to increase circulation of currencies at their disposal, devise a more effective way to decongest the bank, especially at the ATM cash points.
The governor appealed to all media organizations in the state as well as all traditional rulers, community leaders and opinion leaders to assist government in educating the people, especially at the grassroots, on the need to surmount this avoidable threat to Ondo State's and nation's economy and livelihood. Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
It's no longer news that the Supreme Court recently nullified the ban on the 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira banknotes, of course the old ones. The ruling prompted Governor Akeredolu to address Ondo State residents on the urgent need to stop rejecting the old notes, as such unwarranted practice will only inflict needless pain on the citizens. So Joy Powers went round Akure metropolis after the governor's broadcast and discovered that commercial centers like petrol stations, markets and motor parks are yet to accept the old Naira notes.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu in the early hours of Thursday addressed the people of Ondo State on the need to commence usage of the old Naira notes for they remain legal tender to the last day of year 2023. However, many business operators in Akure, the state capital, are adamant as they continue to reject the old 500 and 1,000 Naira notes, despite the Supreme Court's order. Our camera lens captured a chaotic scene at a filling station in the metropole.
After I buy fuel of 4,000 Naira. I don't give them 4,000 Naira, which include 1,000 Naira old notes. So the manager said they should not collect the money from me.
Residents, especially bank customers who could not have access to their money, are lamenting the hardship currently being experienced on daily basis, just as a handful of traders who have resumed collecting the currencies in question following the Supreme Court order said they are now in dilemma as fellow citizens are hell-bent on rejecting the currency.
Federal government to give order pay old note come out now. Àtọ́jú note o àti new note o kò sí kankan tá rí inú ẹ̀.
Eléyìí tán gbà tún kó lọ sí báǹkì, àwọn báǹkì náà ò gbà padà lọ́wọ́ wọn. Ìdí nìyẹn táwọn ọlọ́jà náà fi ní pé àwọn ò ní gba owó yẹn.
Like that one I collect yesterday. Now grace of God I do my take collect the money from my hand.
To say I collect it now, if I want to go and take it to buy something from another person, they will refuse to take the money.
Mi rí nǹkan fi rà. Mo gbà dání, mo gbà tó 10,000 dání bá mo di dání.
Ẹnìkan fẹ́ bí lọ́sibítù wọn àrò owó tọ́jú ẹ̀ ìjọba máa yé ṣe àròkàn dàbọ̀ kọjá rẹ̀ ó ṣe nǹkan wù á o torí àgbà lọ́wọ́ wa létà o.
If banks start collecting it, then I will know that it's official. But as of now, banks are not collecting it.
What is the essence of collecting the money? The money that we are collecting, we will not be spending it. So I do not the essence of collecting it. That is the reason why me particularly I don't want to collect the money.
Most of our other states, wọ́n náwó yẹn, wọ́n ń gbà, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa gbà, bóyá tó bá lọ nú ọjà, tó jẹ́ káwọn ìyá yẹn mọ̀ pé owó wa ṣì ní.
Some POS operators also claimed that banks are not collecting the old Naira notes from them.
The issue of this old notes, a lot of people refuse to accept it. And we ourselves, we just like, if you give it out, they refuse to accept. And the market people said they are not ready to collect.
However, management of some banks visited refuted the claims that they are rejecting the old notes after issuing them out. Concerned Nigerians have voiced out their frustrations, calling on fellow citizens to at least be law-abiding on the court order.
We want to appeal to all the good people of Ondo State that they should please, if the old money if they bring out the old money, they should please adhere to the what the governors have said.
Any policy taken by the federal government, the citizen needs to respect that policy, because the Supreme Court judgment is the final. Do we need to go to World Court? We don't need to go to World Court.
As the issue of Naira swap policy persists, it is expected that residents will adjust on time by adhering to the directives of concerned authorities towards making life comfortable for each and everyone. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
We'll take a break at this point. The news at 7 continues shortly. Please stay with us.
A peak protein breakfast gets me to a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes through his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. Because all day and every day, the peak goes on.
Start your day with a peak protein breakfast. Peak. Breathe for your peak.
Go.
It's still the news at 7 on Osrc television. You can also watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook, Osrc TV Ondo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel, Osrc TV Ondo. Moving to politics. Ahead of the March 18 governorship and state assembly elections, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has directed all commissioners of police and heads of police formations posted for the conduct of the polls to mobilize all resources at their disposal for the smooth conduct of the exercise nationwide. Alkali's directive was contained in a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi. He charged all election duty commanders in various states to handle complaints of intimidation, harassment, and assault reported by individuals or groups thoroughly. The police boss equally assured Nigerians, particularly the electorate and electoral officials, that the force will continue to work in synergy with other security agencies to ensure adequate security as well as protection of fundamental rights nationwide. No fewer than 8 members of the Ondo State House of Assembly are bracing to return to the hallowed chamber for another term as the electorate prepare for Saturday's election. Of course, that's Saturday 18th March. 11 of the remaining 18 legislators decided not to seek re-election, while 2 others are designated members of the Green Chamber in Abuja. House of Assembly correspondent Omoshilela Adesoye reports.
On 18th of March this year, Nigerians will go to the poll again to elect members of the 10th assemblies as well as governors in some 31 states. In Ondo State, 26 seats are expected to be filled as 8 in the 9th assembly lawmakers, who are all rookies, are jostling to return, while the lawmaker representing Ileoluji Igbo and his Idori counterparts have successfully secured seats in the National Assembly. Findings show that some of the lawmakers chose not to recontest, having spent 2 terms at the Assembly, while some who vied to return could not scale the hurdles at the party primary level. The lawmaker representing Ilaje Constituency 2, Favour Tomomewo, hinged her decision to recontest on her commitment to develop her constituents. According to her, continuity is key to good governance as it entrenches development.
It will be an avenue to put in place and to exhibit the already acquired experience. I'm recontesting to drive more quality representation to my people for more benefit of our people.
For the lawmaker representing Ileoluji Igbo, Festus Adefiroye, his quest to enlarge the coast of his service beyond the choice of state constituency prompted his decision to opt for a higher office.
Everybody in life, we like to aspire higher. And for me in particular, my ambition before is to go to the National Assembly, and that is what I contested for in the first place. Yes, for some of my colleagues, I think I want them to come back, so that at least there will be experience in the 10th Assembly in Ondo State. And we have history in the Ondo State Assembly that the only member from Assembly now moved to National Assembly, which is a very good achievement.
Also, some lawmakers who could not meet up at the party primaries promised to re-strategize for future endeavors.
Thank God that God gave me the opportunity to represent my people in the last 3 and almost 4 years now. And life continues. I did my bit. What is important is to help APC to remain in government in Ondo State and at the federal level. We've done that a couple of days ago, flowing from the results in my units, in my ward, in my constituency, and in my local government. We deliver assembly for APC, for the presidential candidate of our party, Ashwani Bola Tinubu. We are part of that success story, and as a politician, I continue to help my party to win election.
Others who chose not to recontest said part of their decision is to give other members of their constituency an opportunity to serve the people, while some attributed their move to having spent more than 2 times at the Assembly.
I've contributed well to the state.
to the development of the assembly and state as well. So I think for me now I'm going to step aside. I've decided to step aside for now and go back to my profession, but at the same time I will probably come back at another time.
At present, the House is populated by 21 members of the All Progressives Congress and 5 members from other political parties.
In less than 3 months, the 9th Assembly will pave way for 10th Assembly as the people of Ondo State are waiting patiently to know who will be their next representatives. Omoshiliola Adesoye Ajayi, Osrc News.
Meanwhile, as residents of Ondo State warm up for the state assembly elections, the All Progressives Congress in the state has welcomed into its fold some bigwigs of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The PDP stalwarts from Akure North, Odigbo, Akoko Northwest and Ondo East led their supporters to officially switch allegiance to APC at the party secretariat in Akure. OSRC's Zahid Arubisala reports that some of the DCMPs who are grassroots politicians had served as council chairmen and House of Assembly members, among others.
The Secretariat of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Ondo State is witnessing the presence of party leaders alongside members of the State Working Committee. The convergence is to receive some People's Democratic Party stalwarts who are switching allegiance to the Progressives. Among the DCMPs are prominent members of the PDP from different council areas like Charles Adeduro, a 3-time executive chairman in Ondo East, Adeyinka Bamso, former member of Ondo State House of Assembly, Adeboro Onibalusi from Akoko Northwest, Dele Fagoriola, a 2-time chairman in Akure North, and Femi Akinwayemi from Odigbo.
I hereby receive all of you into APC, plus all your supporters. Please, let us go back to our board and units and join the party government. Already, the chairman of the party, all those local government are here. Please, give them members of time. If don't have, come to me and give them.
Chairman of APC in Ondo State, Adetimei, who received the new members, said the addition of the grassroots politicians will further strengthen the party. Adetimei, who noted that the party gives its members a level playing ground and join them to work with the APC structure in their communities.
APC as a body in Ondo State, we are happy to receive the latest campaign for PDP. This gentleman seated, we are going to work together to harvest all the notable gladiators in PDP into APC. I know what they are doing, I know what they can do, I know what they're capable of doing.
Some of the new APC members expressed readiness to contribute to the party's fortune.
Officially declare our total commitment, total commitment to the party, the only progressive party in Africa, that is the APC. This is born out of our quest to ensuring that visionlessness, missionlessness, and directionlessness give birth to new dawn of progressivity.
We believe that federal now, we have states, we have the local government, we must also have our constituencies. So we are now joining everybody to the national grid, so to say.
With the coast of the All Progressives Congress in Ondo State having become bigger, the party says its doors are always open to individuals who wish to follow the progressive ideology. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
In the meantime, Nigerians have begun to react to the rescheduling of the upcoming governorship and House of Assembly elections across the country. Independent National Electoral Commission had yesterday announced that the elections would no longer hold on March 11, following a court ruling on the reconfiguration of the bimodal voter accreditation system machines. Omoriola Hungbeju spoke with some residents of Akure, the Ondo State capital, on the implications to Nigerians and the electoral process.
The Presidential and National Assembly elections will now hold on Saturday, 25th February 2023, while the governorship and state houses of assembly elections will hold 2 weeks later on Saturday, 11th March 2023.
Early last year, INEC came up with its lined up for the 2023 general elections, with the Presidential and National Assembly polls on February 25, as well as the State Assembly and the governorship elections scheduled for March 11. 4 days to the scheduled governorship and state assembly elections, INEC announced its postponement by 1 week on the ground that the over 176,000 bimodal voters accreditation system machine used during the 25th presidential election must be configured to prepare for the forthcoming elections. A political lawyer, Dr. Tunji Abayomi, hailed the decision, saying INEC's excuse is germane towards ensuring a successful election.
I believe that the postponement is to ensure that everything is in order. You know, I believe INEC is trying to remedy some of the problems of the last election, and in light of the fact that court just granted it to reconfigure the BVAs, you know, I believe that it needed time.
So Mr. Babatunde Faro, the BVAS machine was very effective during the presidential election, hence the need to give INEC a chance to prepare for the forthcoming ones.
Relatively up to 99% capture success rate was recorded. So the machine is a game changer. And again, if you look at it, by the time they were done with the election, they also uploaded the results, at least in my polling units using it. So the fact that it's helping in easy identification and also helping in transmitting the result, I think is something everybody should applaud, and I believe fully in it.
A political analyst, Mr. Dayo Adedeji, also reasoned along with INEC's submission, saying the commission has set machinery in motion in obeisance to the court order that mandated it to upload results electronically from the polling units.
In the course of reconfiguring the VPAS, the court also gave an instruction and said that the next election must be transmitted as required. So if they are going to do that and they don't want to go to jail and they don't want to give excuses again, we should give them all the time, even if they say they are conducting the election in another 1 month.
The trio, however, recognized the implication of the postponement on the masses and the day-to-day activities.
It's very discomforting. It's not like my flew into town yesterday to be a part of this. Now I will probably travel tomorrow to fly back in on Wednesday. So, but any sacrifice for the credible election will be done.
It is in Nigeria that deadline never die. When they say this thing will happen, people have the feeling that don't mind them, they will still extend it. What you are supposed to do now, people just take it with levity and say, oh, they will still change it. So if we have this culture of giving a date and the date will never be sacrosanct, we create lack of confidence in the system, in any organization that handles public matter.
Meanwhile, INEC has assured political parties and candidates that all the election results from presidential and National Assembly elections would be backed up and made available in INEC Cloud facility, including the INEC Result Viewing Portal. Omoriola Hungbeju, Osrc News.
Staying with politics, but moving towards another issue. Despite the 2023 general elections dominating discourse in the country, the population and housing census, which is scheduled for March 29 to April 1, is another exercise which Nigerians have described as crucial. Osrc's Zahida Ibisala sampled the opinion and preparedness of residents for the census, as well as the benefit to Africa's biggest economy.
Nigeria prides itself and is indeed recognized by many nations of the world as a center of abundant human and natural resources
However, citizens continue to be confronted with socio-economic challenges, most of which economic experts say can be resolved through adequate planning and understanding of the population. Aside the conduct of the 2023 general elections, some development watchers have described the upcoming population and housing census as another step integral to Nigeria's progress. For the first time in 17 years, Nigeria is again seeking to get necessary demographic data of its increasing population, with the census scheduled for March 29 to April the 1st, 2023. Some residents share their views on their level of preparedness for the exercise.
I am prepared for this year's population census because it's long overdue. And I think it will help the government to know how to make better plans for their citizens.
It's a good thing, and we are 100% ready for the commencement of the population census. For the past few years now, they've been working on same population like the total population, but for now then we'll be able to know the real population now.
It's good to know our population because as it is now in this country now, we need to know our population concerning this economy. If we know the number of Nigerians, we can know how to do it, and government will know what to do.
While the planning of the population and housing census continues with relevant agencies, the need for people to participate by making themselves available for the counting was emphasized.
I heard of it, but the enlightenment is not enough. They should try to enlighten people how it will go and place where people can how the whole exercise will go.
If Nigerians love themselves, if they understand what the meaning of population census, they should participate actively because it's for their own benefit to know how the government will cater for them in their needs.
Coming population census, Nigerians should try as much as possible to make themselves available for counting, because in the absence of that, to plan for the future of the entire citizen will be somehow will be looking somehow. So my advice is for them to make themselves available.
Director of National Population Commission in Ondo State, Oluyemi Falusi, who expressed readiness of the Commission for the exercise, said adequate steps are being taken to ensure reliable and accurate data are collated from the process.
Census is about human beings, and it means the person or the persons are central to our activity. So the first thing we expect from every person in the society is cooperation. Everyone must cooperate with us. Census is not something you do and maybe you miss it and you now say, okay, let's do a rerun. We don't rerun census. We don't rerun. It's not like election. We must just do it once and get it once. So we need their cooperation. We need their support.
The National Population Commission has stressed that the population and housing census is not a political exercise and it is devoid of any sentiment. Sahira Ribisala, OSRC News.
At least 6 persons have been confirmed dead and many injured when a moving train rammed into a BRT bus at the PWD bus stop in the Ikeja area of Lagos State. Lagos State Traffic Management Authority LASMA spokesman Adebayo Taufik, who confirmed the incident, said the bus was conveying staff of the Lagos State government when the accident happened. The bus was trying to cross the PWD Shogule rail crossing when the train coming into Lagos from Abeokuta trapped it on its trail. Moving to the foreign scene, 5 persons have appeared in a South African court after a German tourist disappeared in Cape Town. 22-year-old Nick Frisch was hiking when he disappeared along the beach. The death has been announced of a retired broadcaster, Mrs. Cecilia Maggie, at the age of 66. Mrs. Maggie was a staff member of the Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation, Akure, and retired from service in May 2016. She was a prominent Ijaw caster and co-presenter of the television program How now? Baroni Tabra. The late Cecilia Magi is survived by children and grandchildren. May our soul rest in peace. To end the news at 7, another look at the major stories. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has urged residents of the state to obey the Supreme Court order on old Naira notes. Residents of Akure have expressed mixed reactions over INEC's postponement of the governorship and state assembly elections. That's it on the news at 7. Thank you for being a part of it. Good evening.